Right. So let's talk about some wagers with Anita Marks.
She's a babe.
But she comes on this show because she's smart and knows a thing or two about placing bets.
In Latin, she would be called Babia Majora. If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
Let's find out where the smart money's going this week with Anita Marks.
Oh, Anita Marks, 98.7 ESPN Radio in New York, Daily Wager on ESPN. She's also a queen of the pickleball court.
Pickleball hustler.
Yes,
is what she
she's
is.
hustling these people out of their money on the pickleball court, and now she joins us. How are you, Anita?
Hey, Anita.
I'm great. Man, it's so hot out. I nearly died. I was playing pickleball this morning, and I said, can I give somebody a contact number just in case I fall dead on the court because it's 110 degrees? I need an emergency contact number playing this morning. Hopefully everybody out there is staying cool.
Let's stick with health. What do you know about Travis Kelce? What do you know about Joe Burrow? Some of these other people that are borderline, are they going to play or not?
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1 million question tonight. Let's start with Travis Kelce, right? Dibs, you and I have played sports before. It's a bone bruise, and it just happened a few days ago. So let's just say, and from what I hear is that he wants to play, right? Of course, every athlete wants to play. It's opening night. They're getting their Super Bowl ring, yada, yada, yada.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
But even if he does play, how effective do you think he's going to be with a knee bone bruise? At the end of the day, Adam Schefter is reporting that it's going to be the trainer's call. It's not Travis Kelce's call. I'm sure he's going to suit up. I'm sure he's going to have us guessing all the way to the final whatever minutes before they have to announce who's active and who's not. Maybe he will be active, but I've got some reservations in regard to just how effective he's going to be tonight. So that's something for folks out there, especially if you went out and you drafted Travis Kelce in your fantasy league. I'm sure you've been sweating bullets the last 24 to 48 hours. That's something you want to stay on top of. I don't, even if I have Travis Kelce on my fantasy team, guys, I don't even know if I would play him tonight, to be quite frank.
All right, Lions are getting 5 points. Does it move at all if Kelce doesn't play?
I think it already has.
Oh, it's already moved already.
Yeah.
With it was 6.5, and then it moved to 4.5. Now it's up to 5. It's bouncing all over the place. Yeah, no Travis Kelce. That line's going to move. I would go to the window with the Detroit Lions, and this is a really good opportunity to use them as a 2-team 6-point teaser bet. You tease them up to plus 10.5. Whether Kelce plays or not, I think this Detroit Lions team, their last 10 games of the season, they went 8-2. Their defense played a lot better. Their defense got better this offseason in free agency as well as the draft. Offensively, I think they got better. They've got Montgomery now. I think Montgomery's better than Jamal Williams, and Jamal Williams, scored 17 touchdowns last season. They drafted Laporta, who I think is going to be a complete beast. They drafted Gibbs, who I think is going to be a complete beast. So if anything, Kansas City, you still feel like, Kansas City could still win without Kelce. Okay, can they win by more than 10 points? Possibly. I'm a believer in this Detroit Lions team, so I just think they're in a really good position to use them as a 2-team 6-point teaser right off the bat on Thursday night.
What do you think about Burrow, though, and that injury? I mean, it's a calf strain, and we've all heard that can turn into an Achilles tear if you don't take care of it. They're taking on the Browns at the Browns. I mean, there's been so much speculation for the last 5 weeks on what's really going on with this quarterback. What are your thoughts on his health, and what are your thoughts on if he doesn't play, the Bengals' chances on winning a football game against the Browns?
Yeah, so everything that I'm hearing is that he's going to give it a go, right? This is what I'm hearing. We'll see what happens. I know Jamar Chase came out, a few weeks ago and said, no, take week 1 off. Because let's be honest, this is a Cincinnati Bengals team. They're not just looking at week 1, right? They're looking big picture. A lot of people have them winning the Super Bowl this year. So, but it's interesting. Their first 2 weeks of the season are against AFC North opponents, which, as we know, is really important, right? A lot of head coaches, they feel like just win your division, just beat everybody up in your division, and you're going to go to the playoffs, right? I think it's because it's the Cleveland Browns. I'm leaning more towards I want to believe that Joe Burrow is going to play, just because, again, it's a division opponent, and then they've got the Ravens the second week, and I think that's really important for them and their chances because, let's be honest, this is going to be a really competitive division. I think Pittsburgh is going to surprise some folks with Kenny Pickett in his second year and Watt being healthy. We still don't know what we're going to get from the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, Deshaun Watson looks so god-awful last season. And one would argue that now that Joe Burrow's dealing with this calf injury that could be season lingering, that the Baltimore Ravens should be favored to win the division. So this is a really competitive division. I think these first two games are really, really important. So my gut's telling me that Joe Burrow plays.
Talking to Anita Marks from Daily Wager, on the Buffalo game. Let me ask you. I mean, a lot of people are kind of downgrading, Josh Allen and the Bills, and saying they got blown out by the Bengals last year, and now you got Aaron Rodgers and you got Dalvin Cook. You got all these new upgrades for the Jets. Are you buying into all that Jet hype?
Wow. That's a really loaded question. Am I buying into the Jets hype?
That they're going to be all over the Bills?
Listen, this is well, to answer that question, no, I don't. It's week one, it's game one. It's still a lot of changes with a new quarterback and a new offensive coordinator in Nathaniel Hackett, an offensive line that I still don't believe in, going up against a Bills team that had very little change, if at all, with their coaching staff. In fact, their offense only got better with adding Kincaid, the tight end, and this defensive front seven, to me, is really going to do all they can to get after Aaron Rodgers. So I've got the Bills in week one. I'll lay the 2.5. This was at 1.5, so now it's gone up. Kind of tells you where the money's flowing. Big picture here for me, am I buying into the Jets as a whole? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is going to be 40 in December. This offensive line is not good. Can they all stay healthy, which is a really big question mark for every single team in the NFL. I understand that. Here's the thing, guys. I think the Jets will be very fortunate to be 3-3 after the first 3 weeks of the season. Okay, they're taking on the Bills, they're taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're taking on the Eagles, amongst other teams. They have to head to Dallas and play the Cowboys. If they can be 3-3 at the end of the first 6 weeks of the season, then I don't want to say it's a easy ride out. Nothing's easy. But it's a lot easier. The first 6 weeks of the season is really going to dictate a lot with this Jets team.
What kind of offense are you expecting to see from the New England Patriots on week one?
I'm excited to see what Bill O'Brien can do. You guys know how I feel about what happened with Mac Jones last season, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge. The heck was Bill Belichick thinking? I mean, and did he not expect his quarterback to go above him to be like, yo, what's up? You drafted me and then you give me Matt Patricia for what? He's a defensive coordinator. It didn't make sense to me. I don't know. Did they do that? There's some people out there, guys, who feel, and I'm sure you've heard this, just to buy time to wait that they could get their hands on Bill O'Brien and bring him back. Okay. In Bill, I trust. And in Mac Jones, you guys know I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
So in Mac Jones, I trust. I'll give you a little nugget. Everything that I'm hearing about this wide receiver, Demario Douglas, you guys know some stuff on him that I don't as well. I'm hearing that he could very well be like their secret weapon that they are just going to, like I'm hearing that he's got Antonio Brown potential. And they've been keeping him under wraps all preseason. So this is a guy, if you've got some room on your fantasy football roster, I'd pick him up right now. I'm not saying start him week one. I'm just saying get him on your roster, get him on your bench, so maybe you're not fighting for him on Tuesday night heading into week two.
Cowboys, Giants. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Dak Prescott as a Cowboys fan. Giants home opener. Give me your thoughts on both of these teams because they're both trying to catch up to the Eagles in the NFC East.
Dibs is nervous, is what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I love the Giants in this matchup. I'm with you. I'm not a huge Dak Prescott fan as a quarterback. The last 10 seasons, Week 1 divisional dogs have covered the spread 72% of the time.
Nice.
It's a really good percentage. The Giants looked good last season. They only got better. They add weapons on offense for Daniel Jones with Darren Waller, Paris Campbell. They drafted Jalen Hyatt. I think this offense is going to be really explosive. Their rush defense is not great. I think Barkley's going to be able to run on them. The Giants on the defensive side of the ball, they've got a better linebacking core. They drafted Deonte Banks, so they improved their secondary. Daniel Jones in his second year under Brian Daboll's system. As for Dallas, Kellen Moore isn't there anymore, right? He's in Los Angeles with the Chargers. You're telling in McCarthy, I don't trust either calling plays. And then last but not least, you've got Tyler Smith, who's got a hamstring injury, starting left guard for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think their offensive line is what it's been in years past. And then special teams, give me Graham Gano 7 days a week and twice on Sunday night over a rookie kicker who the Dallas Cowboys are going to be reeling out. So for me, the Giants check a lot of boxes here, guys. I love that they're getting the points. You can also get them on the money line at plus 145.
Are we not talking enough about the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles? I see no red marks besides a couple of second stringers that might be on the IR. But other than that, it looks like everybody is healthy. Everybody's ready to rock. DeAndre Swift now in the backfield. Those receivers are just great. I love Jalen Hurts. I don't see why we can't just pencil them in the NFC championship again this year.
Well, who isn't? I mean, majority of people I think are, and how can you not, considering just how god-awful the NFC is this season? They're going to be playing in the most competitive division, one would argue, right? But outside of them, the 49ers, who I'm fading. I actually think
agree.
the Seattle Seahawks win the NFC West this season.
Yeah.
So I'm really big on Geno Smith in that offense, and I think their defense is going to be a lot better. I really like Seattle. I think Seattle's going to surprise some folks. So, I have Philadelphia winning the NFC East. You're right. They add DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny in that backfield, already to Gainwell and Boston Scott. You've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You know what you get with Goddard. They've got a top 5 offensive line. Jason Kelsey, of course, he returns. And on the defensive side of the ball, really, and we sit here and we talk about Jalen Hurts and this and their offense and how great they are. Their defense very well could be better than their offense.
All-star team.
I mean, Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. They pretty much drafted the last 2-3 seasons. They pretty much drafted all the studs out of Georgia. And Georgia's been winning national championships. So, you've got unbelievable talent on all 3 levels. Defensive line, linebacker, and their secondary. I've got the Eagles winning the division. I've got the Eagles representing the NFC in the Super Bowl again this year.
All right, wildest pick for you that you think is going to be the most improved? Like, could it be the Colts? Could it be the Browns? I mean, what is your pick that nobody's really talking
Colts?
About? Who's going to be great this year?
Anthony Richardson is going to wet the bed. Let's be honest.
Wow.
Dude's going to be horrible.
And I'm sitting here wearing a Colts jersey.
I know.
As you don't.
Who's number 51, by the way?
He's not on the team anymore.
Okay.
Sorry. Listen. Seriously, what are you expecting? I don't get it. Dude can't throw the football. He can't throw the football. He's worse than Trey Lance. I don't. Washington. What's the spread? This might be my favorite play in Week 1. Hold on one second.
Against
Let me see
Arizona?
what it is right now. What is that line? Washington,
It's 7.
minus 7 against. Jump on this right now before it goes to minus 7.5.
Okay.
Get on it. Get on it right now.
I'm on it.
I mean, you're telling me that a dude who played like a little over 400 snaps in his entire life at University of Florida against subpar comp is going to come into the NFL and perform well against the Washington Commanders? No way. I don't get it. But anyway, you asked me, okay, who's going to be a I think the Patriots are going to surprise some folks in the AFC East. I think they're going to everyone's thinking, "Oh, the Patriots are going to finish last." I think they're going to be competing with the Dolphins for that third spot. In the AFC North, I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm telling you, Kenny Pickett, depth at running back, their defense, top 5, argued top 3 in the NFL. Love the Steelers. Think they're going to surprise some folks. Jacksonville wins the AFC South. They're going to be a beast. How about the Chargers unseating the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West? I got that. As we said, the Eagles winning the NFC East. I think the Giants make it into the postseason as a wild card in that division. I think they finish better than the Dallas Cowboys. I like the Detroit Lions in the NFC North, but a lot of people do. That's not surprising anyone there. The Saints in the NFC South. You don't guarantee $100 million to Derek Carr unless you really feel that you can dominate that division and win and go to the playoffs. And make some noise. And like I said, probably the biggest surprise probably for people is I think Seattle wins the NFC West. I'm fading the 49ers. I just, how do teams pass up on Purdy 6, 7 times, right?
Yeah.
And in some teams over 7 because they had multiple picks, right? They had multiple picks in multiple rounds. So how does 31 teams, guys, how do 31 teams get it so wrong with Mr. Irrelevant? How does that happen? So I'm fading the 49ers. I've got the Seattle Seahawks winning the NFC West.
I got to sneak in a golf question. I always do when you're on the show. Now you got Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler, Brian Harmon, Max Homa, Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas. Those are the 12 we're running out for Team USA on the Ryder Cup. No Lucas Glover? Anita, you think anybody got snubbed? Do you like that team?
Yeah, why the heck is Justin Thomas here?
Yeah.
But here's why. Zach Johnson said he's putting more value in chemistry. Okay, so just so folks know, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, who else? And Ricky Fowler. The 3 of these guys are buds.
Yeah.
Like they all hang out together. They go on vacation together. Their wives are best friends. You know, they dog sit for one another. So, okay. So Zach is saying the relationship and the chemistry between these guys is more important than the performance that we saw from other guys this season. I don't get it. I don't. I think, you know, I understand Brooks Koepka. You know, I'm out of sight, out of mind. But as we know, when we did see him, he kicked butt and took names. Mm-hmm. So I understand the Brooks Koepka coming over from Liv. Totally get that. But the Justin Thomas selection, huge mistake, I think, by Zach Johnson.
Anita, you are the best. Thank you so much for kicking off our season here. We're out at Bobby V's, and we really appreciate you handicapping the upcoming opening night and opening week of the NFL. We love you. Thank you.
Go Colts!
Fantastic.
Go
wait,
Colts.
You didn't even ask me about my picks tonight.
Yeah, what do you got?
Who do you like tonight?
I want them. I need them.
Okay, all right. So really quick. So again, I'm using the Lions as a 2-team 6-point teaser.
Yeah,
okay?
I got that. Okay.
I also like the under, so you could tease the under up to 59 and play the under at 59 and the Lions at plus 10.5. And then I got quite a few prop bets. I like Gibbs over 3.5 receptions. Mm-hmm. Also over his yards. I think it's at 42.5. Also his longest reception of 14.5. I like Sky Moore over 44.5 receiving yards. If Travis Kelce plays, I'm going under 23.5 for his longest reception. So those are my top 3. But I think Gibbs puts on a show tonight, guys. Also, I got Montgomery anytime touchdown at plus 115.
Ooh.
Lay something down
away from
Smack 'em
right
Yak 'em.
here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anita. Stay cool on those pickleball courts.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Thank you, dear. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back from Bobby V's, sponsored by Bud Light. It's opening night football on the Rob Dibble Show.